Hello there, my name is Stephen Hall, and welcome to 5 meditations that will make you rich. Before we do get started, there's a couple of things that I want to share with you right up front. First and foremost, everything that we're going to talk about in this video you can do for free. You don't have to buy anything, you don't have to subscribe to anything. Also, I'm going to give you a book free of charge. You can actually download it from the website beneath me, and inside that book all the tools that you need to do this are included. So there's no exchange of money needed. This is all free of charge. Now, you might have noticed that there is the option to buy something at the bottom of this page. If you have seen that and you're kind of thinking you can't get anything for free, I don't want you to worry about that at all. That's just kind of an optional extra if you choose to do that. It's kind of a fast track method, but you can do the exact same thing completely free of charge. So if you've got no money whatsoever and you want to find out how you can start making money, you are in exactly the right place, because that is what we're going to talk about. Now, there are two different types of people, and you'll probably recognize that you fall into one of these two groups, and it's probably the first one. The first group of person or people want to be wealthy, want to be rich, and you're doing lots and lots of things to try and make money, but none of those things seem to be working. You tend to put a lot of effort in, you struggle, it seems to be getting somewhere, and then you're pulled right back to where you were at the beginning. Now, if that is a pattern that you find yourself stuck in and it keeps repeating itself, this is the answer that you've been looking for. Now, the second group of people, it doesn't matter what they seem to do, it's almost as though everything they touch turns to gold. And quite often we'll refer to these people as being born with a silver spoon in their mouth. It's like you do the same things they do, but for you it doesn't work. And for them it's just, they can do no wrong. So we've kind of seen this. We see some people that fall into the first category and they're really struggling, and they are trying really, really hard. And we see some people that fall into the second category and they don't seem to be putting in much effort at all, but for them, everything just seems to fall into place. So what this video is about is getting from that place of struggle to this kind of place of ease where you become a money magnet, and whatever you do seems to work. So you kind of touch something and it turns to gold for you. So that's what this is about. That's what I'm going to reveal to you on this video. And in the book that I'm going to let you download for free, all the tools that you need to make that transition are included in there, and these tools are incredibly effective. So before we get to that, there's a little metaphor that I want to share with you that explains how this process works. I want you to imagine that over here we have poverty, and over here we've got abundance. Now obviously we're trying to move in this direction towards abundance and prosperity and wealth and all those wonderful things that we want. Now I want you to imagine that between the two there is a river. Now your conscious mind, your desires, your motivation is a boat on top of that river, and you're inside that boat and you're paddling with all of your might and all of your effort in the direction of what it is that you want. So that riches and, you know, the abundance that you want in your life, the prosperity. And all of the effort that you're putting in to do this, all of the different programs that you might have subscribed to, or those get-rich schemes, or whatever it is that you've done, all of the jobs that you've had, the different careers that you've gone for, all of those are effort that you're putting in to move you towards this prosperity. So that's like you're paddling in this boat. And the more effort you put in, the closer you get towards this goal. However, as soon as you relax, or as soon as something happens, like a bit of self-sabotage or something that kind of knocks you back, you realise that you start to float back down towards the poverty end. And you're going through this endless cycle. You're putting in effort, and then as soon as you stop putting in the effort, it pulls you back. And sometimes it feels like you're taking, 2 steps forward, but 3 steps backwards. So you don't seem to be getting anywhere, and time just keeps on ticking on, and you get more and more frustrated, thinking, am I ever going to make it? To start off with, you're kind of thinking this opportunity will be the one, this opportunity will be the one, but it never is. A few months down the line, you end up back where you were, and then the whole process starts again. And then you're no longer in your 20s, you're in your 30s, and then your 40s are knocking on the door, and you're finding yourself still in this endless cycle. The reason for this is because this river, this metaphorical river that you're paddling on, is flowing towards poverty. Now, the direction that the river is flowing is dictated by your subconscious mind. Now, this is really, really important. Consciously, you might really like the idea of being rich. You want to be rich. Everything about being rich appeals to you. But subconsciously, something inside your subconscious mind is saying being rich is bad. Being poor is good. So your subconscious mind is causing you to move back in this direction, and that's the flow of the river. Now, there's several things that could be causing this. I'm going to get to those in just a moment. But I want to talk about those other people, the people that seem to find making money easy, those money magnets that touch things and they instantly turn to gold. The only difference between those people and you is that their river is moving towards abundance. So their subconscious mind is in alignment with this idea of money is good, poverty is bad. So their conscious desire to have money is congruent with their subconscious beliefs about money. This means that their boat is actually floating in the direction of money, and all they need to do is just have a little paddle every now and again, the tiniest amount of effort just to push that boat along, and it's effortless for them. They're just floating along towards prosperity and abundance. So whatever they try, it kind of works. So those are the two different people that we've got. We can present exactly the same opportunity to those two people. The first one is going to get carried into poverty. The second one is going to get carried into abundance. Even if they're doing the exact same things, it's your subconscious mind that dictates whether or not you succeed or fail. So what can we do about this? How do we move this river to flow towards abundance? Well, first of all, what could be causing it to flow towards poverty? There are so many things that can cause this. It could be something from your childhood that your parents might have said. It could be a film that you've watched. Now, this is really, really interesting. I want you to think about things like spirituality, being a really wholesome spiritual person, because that's important to me. Now, for a long time in my life, I really, really struggled with money. In fact, I kind of was at minus £2,000 in my bank account from the age of around about 18 up until the age of about 29. I'm 40 now. For the past 10 years I've been retired, and at about the age of 29 I started applying what I'm going to teach you here today, and that enabled me to shift this river so it was flowing towards abundance rather than poverty. Before that, I was always at the bottom of my overdraft. I never had any savings. I was living hand to mouth and I was struggling. As soon as I managed to make this transition, everything just fell into place for me. Everything I tried worked, and I got to a point where my hobby started generating more income than my job, and I was able to retire when I was 29 years old in 2003. And since then, I've not worked a day in my life. So I now get paid for doing what I love, and money just seems to flow to me, and it's just because I've made this river move to the other direction. Now, previously, I grew up being very conditioned into thinking I wanted to be a very good spiritual person, and I had this idea in my head that spiritual people were poor, and if you were rich, you weren't spiritual. So these two things, they were kind of battling with one another, and the spirituality was so important to me that in order to get that, it felt like I couldn't have money. So every time I tried to make money, I sabotaged it. So that was my problem. Another thing that happens with a lot of people is we are influenced by the media. There's a particular film that does this really, really well, and that film is Titanic. Now, in the film Titanic, we've got some very, very rich people, all the people that are upstairs, a bit of a stiff upper lip. The people are kind of not very nice people, and they're backstabbing, and they're the villains of the film. And then we've got the people beneath the deck that are dancing on the tables and having a wonderful time, and the hero of the film. Now, obviously, I can't really say what happened on the Titanic, but I imagine the rich people upstairs were having a much better time than the people down in the steerage, where there was probably all sorts of disease and cramped conditions. I don't think they were dancing on tables, drinking whiskey and having a whale of a time. That is pure fantasy. But when you watch a film like that, the message that's going into your mind is rich people are not nice people, and poor people have loads of fun. And you're thinking to yourself, I want to be happy, I want to have fun, so I want to associate myself with those poor people. And then your brain starts to sabotage you when you're making money, because it doesn't want you to be one of these horrible backstabbing people that are wealthy. So that's one of the ways that we are influenced by films, and nearly all films follow this exact same pattern. The villains are always wealthy, they're really horrible people, and then the spiritual people, the friendly people, the people having fun, they're always the people that don't have much money, and that really does have a massive impact on us when we watch something like that. Now, we also get conditioned by our school, by our parents, by the media, the films that we watch, conditioning from peer pressure, from social groups. All of this is bombarding us all the time. And when we're children, our subconscious minds are so open, we're like a sponge, and we get so much conditioning. Now, we have disempowering beliefs at this stage that hold us back. And if those beliefs are saying, for whatever reason, money equals bad, poverty equals good, then we'll always be struggling to make money, and we'll always move towards poverty. Now, what the tools that I'm going to give you today will do will change that. They're kind of going to break those connections and reform new ones. So all of a sudden, your subconscious mind is going money equals good, poverty equals bad. And that's congruent with what you want at a conscious level. So consciously, you want to be wealthy. You love the idea of having lots of money. Subconsciously, I've got to tell you, it's a hard truth to hear. But if you're not earning the amount of money that you desire right now, then your subconscious mind is connecting the idea of abundance and prosperity with something negative. And it's connecting the idea of poverty with something positive. If that wasn't the case, then you would already be rich. There is no way that you can have a subconscious belief about something and not be living that experience that supports that belief. And whatever you're doing to try and break yourself away from your current condition, that is caused by your conscious desire. And if that's not the same as your subconscious belief, then you'll never succeed. The subconscious mind is always the one that dictates what's going on around you. Now, obviously, this is subconscious. So this is stuff that we're not consciously aware of. We don't know it's there. We don't know what these beliefs are, or these blocks are, or these counter-intentions, whatever you want to call them. We don't know what they are. The only way that we can tell they are there is by looking around us, because they dictate our actions. They dictate our reality. So if we are struggling to make money, then there absolutely must be something in your subconscious mind that is supporting and creating that. Now, the way I want you to think about this is like, if you imagine that you've got an oak tree, then someone at some time, well, not necessarily someone, but at some time in the past, an acorn needed to be underground and sprout and grow, and a little sapling that turned into the oak tree. If the acorn was never there, the oak tree never could have grown. Now, that acorn represents a negative belief or an idea that money is somehow bad. And the oak tree represents your struggle about making money in your life. If the oak tree is there, the acorn must have been there. And that acorn could have been something as innocent as something your parents said when you was a small child, and you just absorbing that as a truth, and then that became your reality. Now, obviously, that acorn might not be there anymore, but now we've got this root network under the ground that's supporting this tree up top. And the reason the tree is still there is because those roots are still there. So if you are experiencing poverty in your life, it's because underneath the surface in your subconscious mind, you have a belief structure that is supporting that. Now, the tools that I'm going to give you today, free of charge, they go down to the foundations of your belief structure, into your subconscious mind, and they change those. It's like breaking that money equals bad belief and connecting a new one that means money equals good. What happens then is your subconscious mind becomes congruent with your conscious desire. And in this metaphor of the river, the flow of the river stops going towards poverty and it turns and it starts going towards abundance. Now, your little boat on top that represents your conscious desire, you're still paddling towards abundance and prosperity because that's what you want. But now you're going with the flow rather than fighting against the current. And that's incredibly powerful. So that's kind of like how this system works. I'm not going to explain the whole thing on this video, but if you download the book that's on this, that's beneath me on this page, it's completely free of charge. You can download it. I encourage you to share that book with your friends and your family. The book explains in a lot more detail why and how this process works, how we get those disempowering beliefs and what we can do about them. And then inside the book, I've got a series of 5 meditations that are scripted out for you. You just read through them and then you just relax and imagine the things I've told you to imagine in the meditations. In fact, I say 5, but there's actually 6 in there because I've got 2 versions for one of them. So I do call this 5 meditations that will make you rich, but you actually get 6 meditations. So think about it as a little bonus one in there. So you download the book, you read through the meditations, and then all you need to do is just relax and imagine the things that I've told you to imagine. Now that sounds like it might not do much, but this is incredibly powerful. The way this works, that connection at the moment in your subconscious mind going money equals bad, imagine that is like an old vinyl record that's playing with the needle in the groove all the time, playing the same thing. What these meditations do, it's like taking a big knife and scratching that record so that it can never play the same way again. So even though the needle is trying to follow the groove, it jumps out every time because you have broken that connection. That's what happens inside your subconscious mind. And what we do in place of that is we set up a new connection where money equals good. Now, all you're doing is relaxing, you're imagining things, and you're just kind of going into a bit of a meditation, just going through the kind of things that I explained to you. I tell you exactly how to do this and give you lots of different options as well so you can do the one that you like best. When you do that, your life will transform. It doesn't take very much time at all. A little bit of persistence in doing this, because your subconscious mind will try to resist it, because your subconscious mind always tries to resist change. And when you notice you're trying to resist doing this, that's when it's starting to work. So really stick with it. Once you've done this every day for about a week or so, you'll start to notice that you actually have changed the way that you are thinking and feeling about money. And you won't realize until it happens, but it'll be like a weight being lifted off your shoulders, and all of a sudden you'll start feeling a lot more positive about money. And it's at that point where the river is starting to turn towards abundance and away from poverty. Now, when you get to that point, stick with it, because what happens next is you lock that in, and then you become a money magnet. You just find that things that you do just seem to work. And rather than being one of these people that struggle, you become one of these people where making money is easy. Now, I did say that there is the opportunity to buy something. It's a little bit of a fast track option. The thing that you can buy, those meditations that I mentioned, you can just read them and do them yourself, or you can buy an audio download that I've created for you. It's incredibly hypnotic. It combines hypnotic language, neuro-linguistic programming, and there's a lot of very, very clever language patterns and sounds in there that they kind of force your brain into a state of consciousness where you absorb the messages that are inside that audio at a very, very profoundly deep level. So it's a bit of a fast track system. You just download the audio, you just pop that on, you can put it onto a loop if you like, and you just relax and you listen to it. Now, what most people find when they listen to this, after about 4 or 5 minutes, all of a sudden, it's as though you've fallen asleep. Your consciousness will be taken that deep. And then at the end of the recording, you'll hear me count from 1 to 5 and wake you up, and then you'll suddenly feel like you're back in the room. You don't go unconscious. Your subconscious mind can always hear everything that's happening. So it's a little bit like falling into a state of sleep. It's kind of what we would call the hypnotic trance state. So you're not going to go to sleep or anything like that. It's a perfectly safe state to be in. And I know a lot of people do worry about hypnosis, but the hypnotic state is just a state of consciousness where your brain starts to slow down to a different frequency. And you actually go through that state every single day at least twice. When you go to bed at night, you go down through this state of consciousness, and then you go into sleep. And then when you wake up in the morning, you go back up through this state of consciousness into normal waking consciousness. Now, also at several times of the day, you'll drift down into this state. And when you do, it just feels nice. It's a very odd feeling, but it kind of feels as though your muscles are really sweet and relaxed and soft. And if anyone's ever kind of snapped their fingers in front of your face and tried to get your attention, it feels like you're miles away. That's the state that we're trying to accomplish. And what this audio recording does, it gets you into that state, and that specific state is very, very powerful. It kind of shuts down a part of your mind called the critical factor, which is like a doorway to your subconscious. And when that happens, we can put very, very powerful positive suggestions into your subconscious mind, and then your subconscious mind runs these like a program, and it kicks out the ones that conflict with it. So this is how we reprogram your mind. We kind of take these ideas of money equals good, we turn off the critical factor, we put that idea into your mind like planting a seed, and all the ideas of money equals bad, they're taken out of your mind so that you are completely reprogrammed, and you become the kind of person that finds it very, very easy to make money, and you become a money magnet. It's so, so powerful. So all you need to do now, you can read through this page if you like to. There's some more information down there, but I've covered pretty much everything in this video that you'll read on the page. But what I will say, download the book because everything is in there. You just need to read the book and follow through with the meditations. If you want to, you can also purchase the audio recordings. You don't need them, but they are so powerful, and they'll speed up this process, and they're really lovely to listen to. Go through the page below, have a look at some of the reviews and the testimonials that have come back from people that are using those download meditations. So I really think if you've got the option to purchase those, by all means go for them, because they're so relaxing and pleasant to listen to, and you just have to relax, pop on the recording, and it does the work for you. But if you are in a situation where you don't have any money and you just need to get to a point where you can start making money, download the book for free, read it, and follow and commit to what is suggested within the book, and you'll find that, within a couple of months, your entire life will have changed. You won't believe how fast this happens. So that's all from me. I wish you the very, very best, and I really, really hope that in the future, if you do all this for free, in the future when you've started to make some money, I want you to decide how much you think this is worth for you, and then take that money and donate it to a worthwhile cause, so one of your favorite charities. So kind of like let's kind of like spread. I'm kind of going to give you something here for free, and what I'd like you to do is to show your appreciation for that. When this has worked for you, and you get to a place where you have made the money, so you could have paid for the meditations if you wanted to, but obviously at this point you won't need them. Take that money, or any more that you want to, and just donate that to a worthwhile cause, because that would mean so much to me if you could do that. So share this video with your friends, get them to download the book, and if you're in a position where you can purchase the downloads, I really encourage you to do that, because they fast track this system and they really make it powerful. You take care and have the most wonderful of days. Bye bye.